Here was the moment earlier on today, the shocking moment when the former Tory Chancellor Nadhim Zahawi defected to Reform UK.
Even if you don't yet realise that Britain needs reform, you know in your heart of hearts that our wonderful country is sick. How many of you at home have thought to yourselves that nothing works today? I know I have, and I have it a damn sight easier than most people. That is why I'm standing here today as the newest member of Reform UK.
It's the highest profile defection to date, but was welcoming yet another former Tory minister. The right decision for the party that's been leading every single poll for the best part of a year. Well, I'm joined now in the studio, I'm delighted to say, by the chairman of Reform UK, Dr. David Bull, as well as my usual arguing partner on Mondays, as GBNews' senior political commentator, Nigel Nelson. Gentlemen, welcome to you both. Dr. David Bull, I shall start with you. Tell us why you believe that Nadhim Zahawi is a great addition to the Reform team.
Well, look, Martin, since I took over as chairman, I am professionalising the party. We have gone from 90,000 members to 271,000 members. As you know, we are strengthening the team. We now have branches, 450 branches around the country. And the point is that we want the best and the brightest. In terms of defections, we have 5 members of parliament. In terms of defections, we are taking people from across the political spectrum, as long as you subscribe to our values and that you understand the mission that we're in. And Nadhim is a fantastic addition to that team. One of the accusations which has been levelled at us, and I think it is fair actually, whilst we have brilliant people with great experience in many different walks of life, do we have experience of running the country and being in government? And the answer to that is no. And that's the reason why actually the defection of Danny Kruger is so important in terms of preparing for government. And that's why actually Nadhim coming over is absolutely brilliant. So as we go into the next phase of what we're doing, and of course May the 7th is going to be very important in terms of Wales and Scotland and actually the elections in London as well, we have to prove that we're competent, not only just running local councils, but we're actually going to be competent in government as well. What we have to do is defeat the blob, make sure the civil service works for the elected politicians, and people like Nadhim will be absolutely brilliant at that. Remember, he's an absolutely fantastic businessman. He set up YouGov, so he knows what he's talking about. He was Chancellor. This is a man who knows how politics work, and he will strengthen our team going forward.
Much was made today in the press conference. And by the way, a very long press conference. It's actually good to see Reform UK taking so many questions, I think, from the media, even when they're hostile. Lots of exhumation, archaeology of tweets between the two in the past where Nigel Farage is racist. Apparently, Nadhim Zahawi said a comment that Goebbels would be proud of, but also on some policy points, of course, people are rummaging through what Nadhim Zahawi stood for in the past, as well as some Reform voters, the base, being a little bit unhappy about lockdown stances and vaccine rollout. Let's talk for one specific thing which leapt out at me in 2013 as part of the number 10 policy unit, the immigration amnesty proposed by Nadhim Zahawi, allowing illegal immigrants to work and to claim benefits, a policy so woke, even David Cameron rejected it.
Yeah, sure. But it's OK to have ideas and to actually throw them around. It was rejected and it was a long time ago. In terms of those tweets, though, that was 2015. We were in the middle of an election and people say things because they're tribal politicians. But just in terms of the vaccine rollout, and I just want to be very clear about this, Nadhim was tasked with rolling out the vaccine. It was a logistical exercise and he did it with aplomb. And the reason, and you know this because we served in the European Parliament together,
yes,
the reason that vaccine rollout worked so efficiently and well is because we had left the European Union. If we had not done that, we would not have been able to roll that vaccine out. Now, actually, in terms of looking at who should be vaccinated, that is an entirely different question. And that was down to Vallance and Whitty and those people that made those decisions. And I would argue that actually they got those calls wrong. But actually what Nadhim Zahawi did, I think, is admirable. What he did, he was tasked to roll out that vaccine, and he did it very well indeed.
Using the internet without a VPN, a virtual private network, is a bit like taking to the road without car insurance. All it takes is one unlucky moment to cost you a lot of cash. This video's sponsor is Private Internet Access. They are the VPN to help keep you safe. Click the link in the description below to find out why over 30 million people have downloaded PIA to protect themselves online. A virtual private network is an app that hides your IP address and helps keep your data private. When you're browsing the internet at home, you give up a large amount of data to businesses, to shops, and indeed to social media giants too. Hackers have the ability to steal your personal data with ease, including sensitive information such as passwords, keystrokes, and even your personal photos. Private internet access helps protect your personal data by encrypting your internet connection to keep your data out of the hands of cyber criminals. And it's not just hackers either to be concerned about. Information can be censored too. When Canada passed their C18 bill, social media giants decided to ban news content on their platforms. But PIA can protect your ability to consume the news and content you love. Private internet access is available for Windows users, Mac OS, Android, Linux, iOS, and you can use one PIA subscription to protect an unlimited amount of devices. And we've got a huge GBNews discount for you too. Click the link in this video's description and you'll get a massive 83% off PIA. That's under £2 a month, the price of a coffee, and you'll get an extra 4 months completely free on top. Also, there's a 30-day money-back guarantee too. Visit piavpn.com/GBNews to start protecting yourself digitally today.
Elsewhere, there's been much made, of course, of Nadeem Zahawi's business background. We hear Nick Candy helped to be the bridge into the party. Sure. Fundraising will be a vital part of his role, and also the ability to be taken seriously in the city.
Yes. Absolutely right. And of course, these things are very important because as we grow, and we are a movement built from the ground up, and that is the whole point of what I've been doing. Going around the country, I've seen 5,000-6,000 people in working men's clubs across the country, in Labour, tribally Labour areas. Let's look at Liverpool. Liverpool got 80% of the vote went to Labour at the last election. They're down to 40%. We're polling at 32% in Liverpool. So something enormous is happening on the ground. But what we have to prove is that actually we are competent when and if we get those seats, anything between 271 and 450 seats, we are ready to govern this country. And that is why these sort of people coming across the party is really important.
Nigel Nelson.
Yeah, you mentioned values, David.
Yes.
That Nadeem will actually follow reform values. I mean, certainly he hasn't in the past. That as Education Secretary, he championed climate change initiatives, which is not something that your party goes along with. He's also championed trans rights for kids. He put up an idea about how you might accommodate them in schools. These are not what you would call standard reform policies by any means.
No, not at all. But it's OK to change your mind. And the fact is that we will only take people who subscribe to our values and our policies. And Nigel made that very clear indeed. Nadine said today at the press conference, I was there, actually it was so brilliant, because when he walked through the door, there was an audible gasp from the journalists. I don't think anyone expected someone of his calibre to defect to us. But what it does show is, and he said this is the last chance saloon to save the United Kingdom. And I actually believe that passionately, because I didn't need to do this job. I am doing this job because I do believe it's important, and I can see the mess the country is in. The fact is, Keir Starmer has no ideology, no idea. He's out of time, out of his depth, and he should be out of office as well.
Do you not think that you may end up being accused of being sort of Tories 2.0 on the basis that you keep taking Tories, and I don't quite what number chairman that Nadeem comes out as, but you've had Jonathan Gullis, Jake Berry. It feels
but
like
they're members.
It feels like you're taking in a load of failed Tories who come along and then rubbish their previous party, yet they were part of the Tory failure in government.
So I am very mindful of this. It's my biggest worry that we don't turn into the Tory Party 2.0. In fact, I've just done a training exercise. I trained 200 candidates over the weekend. Many of those are former Labour voters, or indeed they've worked for the Labour Party, who have also come across. So we are taking people from across the political spectrum. And that's really important to me. But I have said to Nigel, we are very mindful we do not turn into the Tory Party 2.0. You have to subscribe to the values. You have to believe that we can be a strong independent country, free from the European Union. Actually, one of the biggest problems is we never Brexited. We never Brexited properly. And that is a travesty, because what we need to do is put this country back where it belongs to make it a great United Kingdom.
Dr. Bull, a lot of people are saying, when are we going to see another Conservative defect? But you recall the Brexit Party, the huge success of the Brexit Party, in my opinion, was it had that allegiance of people from the left, people from the right. There was a former communist in Claire Fox.
Yes,
I voted for the Labour Party for 20 years. We had a broad church. When can we expect somebody from the Labour Party to cross the floor?
Imminently.
Imminently.
I can't say any more, Martin. You know, the whole point is we're keeping our cards dry. But there are many people coming across at local level, at councillor level, who are former Labour members and supporters who are already joining this party. In terms of parliamentarians, we are seeing more people coming towards us. But we are turning people down as well, because actually we're in a really strong position. This is not a retirement home for failed politicians. This is a party on the rise, on the ascendancy. And actually, I kind of, when I was sitting there today, thought, and you know, look, I've been there since the beginning. We were polling at 2-3%. I was deputy leader at that time. To be polling at 32-33%, I actually think we're an unstoppable force.
There we go. You heard it here first. Imminently, Dr. David Bull, you old tease. Labour defection soon. Dr. David Bull, thanks for joining us in the studio tonight. Always a pleasure.